Tragedy on the sea. The battlecruiser Mataka was taken down in our last episode. Unfortunately, we don't know how it happened. All we know is that someone shot holes in her and she sunk. But that made this battle a defeat. Despite the tonnage sunk, the Mataka was, I believe, a 30,000 ton battlecruiser. Yeah, nearly 30,000 tons. So that was pretty much an even trade in terms of tonnage. The Emperor shall not be pleased. Our invasion into eastern Sicily failed, but we've taken central Italy. Yes. Of our $55 billion per month that we have in the budget, we are spending a good proportion of that now on research, and most turns are seeing, super battleship. Experimental battleship hulls are available. As I said, we are pulling ahead in the technology race for certain. With access to the super battleship hull and the experimental battleship hull, it's time to build some monsters. I don't really have a plan in mind for the super battleship hull. All we're going to do is make her as big as possible and put her as many big guns as we can. I don't have much in the way of big gun armament at the moment. It's all very low technology. 16-inch guns have only just made it to Mark II. But we are going to make her a fast battleship with a maximum displacement of 122,446 ton. We have a lot to work with. So she's going to have the best of the best of the best in terms of technology. But I have just realized that you guys don't actually have the clearance to see the design of the new Super Yamato. And it's totally not because I ran out of hard drive space that you won't get to see the rest of the design of this ship. But for now, you will see that she is going to have 16-inch secondaries, which is mighty impressive. Our new Scout Cruiser class, the Euro class Scout Cruiser, has arrived on station. We have one ready to go. And I have stopped showing you the transport battles because they're so plentiful and they're not very exciting. But let's see what the Euro can get up to. Remembering that she has, I believe, what was it? She has 3 8-inch turrets on the front, or 9-inch turrets, 2 on the back, and 16 torpedo tubes per side with reloads, with triple reloads, for a total of 96 torpedoes. And those transports are bunched up so well. Destroyers are having a go at it. The Euro class is dropping her torpedoes 1 tube at a time by the look of it. It's the first time we've used her in a battle, so I would like to see how they perform. The Euro class also has the electric torpedoes, so they are slower, but less visible to the enemy. We're turning her about to fire the other side. The escort cruiser has a flash fire aboard. Torpedoes are making it into the formation. We have lost sight of the ships because our own ships are in smoke. We know that they are causing chaos. We've had 8 hits with the torpedoes. That heavy cruiser continues to fight despite having half the ship exploding. And now Santa Maria has sunk, as well as 2 transports amidst that big gaggle of ships trying to escape us. So the second build of the class, the Akitsushima, is laying her starboard fish now. And she has a lot more where they came from. She's effectively 2 of our destroyers. And when we get the quintuple launches, we will have 20 aside. So this cruiser has staying power, whereas our destroyers don't really. And if I built 2 or 3 of them, they could really supplant our destroyers. So they are worth a lot more in terms of funds and time to build. There is one particular battle type that I'm coming to despise, and that is the Battleship Showdown, where it just chooses one random battleship and a couple of destroyers, and then throws them against another one battleship, despite keeping my whole fleets together the entire game. Now that we've lost the escort for the Akitsu, she's in a bit of trouble. The Yamato 1905s aren't designed to fight alone. I never intended them to fight alone. This battlecruiser is charging straight at us with her 16-inch guns, and Akitsu has taken a few decent hits. But really, tactics are out the window and we just have to brawl it out. She ran away from my destroyer until she could clap her with a rear gun. So there was a bit of strategy on her part, not so much on mine. Fortunately, we have rate of fire advantage. Oh, jeez, massive hits there. Trading blows, but we've managed to punch down that battlecruiser, as it should be. We are refraining from repairing our major capital ships at the moment, just to keep the port space free. But here is the Emperor class. She's seen a little bit of battle. She's taken a few shots. So we need to be mindful, keep her safe. She has a predominantly rear gun armament, so she's not too averse to running away. Battleship Taiho, who was destined for Vladivostok to be mothballed. I completely forgot about her. She's just going to tag along as well. She wants to see the Italian war out, and hey, why not? She was part of our Caribbean fleet. Hasn't seen much action since the early war. It's a pretty nice day for a war. We haven't yet sighted anyone. Yes, we have. Emperor class opening up. Her big 14-inch batteries. Sending 8 shells their way. Brutal broadside firepower. Let's just set the gunners to normal. Any big hits from those broadside salvos? That would be nice to see. One hit. Big stray shell hit. Destroyer Kusunoki is now making her run. Small warship leading up the formation. They've got torpedoes in the water. Ours are on the way. Not a very high chance of hitting that agile warship with that many torpedoes. So we're trying to target all different warships here. We might. She hasn't seen our... It is a heavy cruiser. And she hasn't seen them. So she's in trouble. Oh yes, juicy 8 hits. The war is over for Italy. They have tried to strike a peace deal, but it is not happening. We already have Rome. We just need the rest of Italy to toe the line. They are trying to build more battleships, but they don't have the port capacity to get them up in any number. So like you're about to see, when they do bring out a fancy new battleship, we just swarm it. And there really isn't much they can do. Managed to hit 2 separate ships with that attack. Battleship taking a shot at the close-range destroyer moments before she meets her demise. Spectacularly. Further 5 hits with torpedoes and more on the way. And so the battleships they are building, they're just using to defend their troop transports. Which is not a recipe for success. We are just pushing our fleets right up the Ionian Sea into the Adriatic Sea, and we are going to bombard all their ports and take away all their capacity to reply to us. Invasion will commence, and then we'll turn our sights to the other shore and hit up the Hungarian Empire, who are currently embroiled in a war with Germany and France. So I don't know what these guys are doing. They're fighting each other. Well, why just pick them off one by one? Being totally uncontested now, we're able to send the supplies we need to force land invasions into northeast Italy, so maybe that will help us speed up this process of invasion. There is a lot of tonnage required to take this last position here at Ancona. Italy's built another single battleship for us to shoot down. We've got the second iteration of the Hattori class. The refit version sees many more turrets with many more barrels attached. She's kind of a ridiculous looking ship, but there's no denying that she is effective. Got a mix of quad and triple turrets, just whatever I could fit on there. Because looking at our statistics, we haven't really been shot at too much. Just batter them down, scatter them with torpedoes. Destroyer Suzuki, Destroyer Kikuzuki have going to launch their torpedoes at a battleship in the rear, and I'm hoping we can hit this cruiser here. Oh, turning. That's a very dangerous looking torpedo. Almost bouncing off the side of Kikuzuki. Now it's Naire's turn. Turn around that, sons. Very close. I was hoping to feed some torpedoes to this cruiser, but that's not going to happen. She's going to be encircled by our DDs. We're at very dangerous range there. Those torpedoes are looking great on the battleship in the background. Destroyer Dasuki turning around. Duds on the battleship. Oh, that's unfortunate. High angle though. Looks like we might get one more chance. Fires all over the deck of this battleship here. She took a few hits from the big ships, who are now focusing down the destroyer. Once the enemy close within 8 kilometers, there is just an unending stream of secondary fire that whittles them down. Like, look at this. This guy just... You cannot dodge that much fire. Sorry. See, turning in didn't help. That just let them pass right through your ship. Totally annihilating the escort. We are just going to charge this enemy BB. Cannot make out the silhouette of the Hattori. There is so much smoke. Even more smoke on the enemy ship. She is just a burning hulk. All's well that ends well. Heads are rolling at the Italian Admiralty office, specifically Alberto Fioravanzo's head. He's been replaced by Luigi Cannavaro. It must be because of poor management. Yes, that must be the cause. While the Italians are busy lopping heads, we've gained control of southern Italy. So despite decapitating Alberto, the rest of the Admiralty's heads are rolling all the way to Mogadishu, where we will soon catch up with them. I'm going to just send the smallest possible destroyer force, just to blockade that for the next eternity until they surrender. But I will be honest, this game is a bit of a funny one. Now that all the action has finished, I now have to spur a war to happen, or I will just spend the next hour, 2-3 hours looking at this map, waiting for something really to happen. Construction has commenced on another experimental battleship. I was really trying to get 4 layers of guns here that could all fire in the forward fire arc, but unfortunately we could only manage to squeeze in 3 decks worth of guns. But that's still pretty impressive. These ship hulls really are designed for much bigger guns, and unfortunately I'm still locked at 17-inch guns. Technology is taking a while to unlock the gun calibers that I want, so this hull really is designed for 20 inches of pain, but at the moment we're going to have to deal with 16 inches. I'm happy with that. We've put the foregun right up the front of the forecastle just to give those wing turrets as much traverse as they can possibly get. And I'm thinking this will do us well. 75,000 ton ship. It's not too crazy in terms of displacement, but it will present with our doctrine of forward, always moving forward, always shooting forward, because the sun never sets on this empire. To balance the ship, I've had to put a lot of the machinery towards the rear. We've put the tower in the center of the ship, and there's not much room for armament on the stern. So we're just going lots of secondary armaments, one main caliber turret, which is slightly smaller caliber than the front. But that's okay, we never want to be running away. And the name of this ship shall be the Kaiju, because she's a bit of a monster. Upgrading our destroyers, because we now have access to destroyer twin turrets. So that will drastically increase the firepower, gunnery-wise, of our destroyer force. And I should mention that the Kaiju that I just designed is actually a diesel-powered ship. She's going to be the first diesel-powered battleship. 75,000 tons, mainly machinery. During the interwar period, we want to make sure that we're refitting all of our ships to the most modern designs, making sure that we're pumping out our designs that we've just built so they don't become obsolete instantly. Our command authority has increased, so I can now field fleets of 15,000 men. So we are consolidating some of our fleets together, mainly the Yamato line ships. I made some major design modifications to my fleet destroyer, and I'm going to now upgrade all of my fleet destroyers to that standard. We have 3 triple turrets on the front, 5 inches. The 6th refit of the Yamato class will see an increase to the armor scheme to a now all-or-nothing armor scheme, as well as modernizations to the stereoscopic rangefinder. The Karukayo torpedo class destroyer also saw a minor refit in that it got double twin turrets. So now we have much more firepower available to those ships. Our faithful ally Colombia has asked for our new designs of ships, but we have an imperial decree, and unfortunately we are no longer selling our ships to any allies. After this success of the Italian war, we have now completed a full pass of refits on all of our destroyers, all of our cruisers, all of our battle cruisers that could be upgraded, as well as the line battleships. And we've instituted a new design in the Kaiju. Pretty good start to the next phase of the war, which will be against the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now that took me the better part of an afternoon to do that, and I didn't even press next turn yet. So if you're thinking about playing this game, please know that it does require a substantial amount of brain power and time to get anything done. It's hard to binge this game. Here is my iteration of a heavy 9-inch gun cruiser, taking inspiration from the Mogami class, but with an extra turret and an inch larger all around the main armament with 9 inches of firepower in quad turrets. So she is a Mogami turned up to 2,100. 51,000 long tons of pain. I will be interested to see how well she goes. We're going to give her a lot of armor. And I'm just really experimenting here. I may put on some torpedo racks. At this stage, I don't really yet know. I've put my trademark secondary gun layout, which does look kind of ridiculous on such a long ship. But hey, like I said, it's a trademark. You see that stack of quad turrets coming towards you, you know that it's a Japanese ship. I should mention that my Yamato class got the refit, and they now have 20 aside, which is going to be fun. February 1932, and the Japanese Emperor has sent the Austro-Hungarian Empire a box, in which contained the head of the Emperor's son, which was not cool. No one liked that, but it did have the desired effect of starting the war. Despite spending years watching the Italians get beaten into submission, the Spanish be run over, the Austro-Hungarians have sent a battleship. We shall see how this goes. There she blows. Battleship sighted. Now it's just time to run her down and see if the Austro-Hungarian Empire actually even has a fleet. And as the swarm descends, out comes the picket ship to try and defend the battleship. Hachishimo will take care of that. Very old design cruiser by the look of it. We're riding at 40 knots. Drifting at 40 knots. Almost outrunning our torpedoes. Oh, dud torpedo bouncing off the prop. The second spread there. We must be traveling too fast. A lot of them are detonating as they hit the water. Is that a thing? You ride too fast, your torpedoes detonate. Oh, the Mikazuki has just taken a big hit. I think one of the torpedo racks exploded. Hatsushimu turning hard to starboard to avoid that torpedo, which is going across her bow. We've run past the escort. We're just running down our prize. If they can't put up much of a defense, then we will just run straight through it. Look at this. Full spread of torps from close range. Mikazuki is about to get a scalp here. First scalp of the Austro-Japanese War. Alright, that's a fleet. 2 battleships of almost 50,000 tons versus our Yamato line and a couple of DDs. This will be a fight to remember. 6 battleships, 4 destroyers versus 2 very large battleships. Displacement is high, but that doesn't necessarily mean that capability is high. We will soon see what the Austro-Hungarian Empire has to throw at us. We are not taking any chances. So we have a line abreast formation of destroyers heading out to find these large battleships. These are the largest battleships we've probably seen on the field, I think, besides my own. Now let's have a look at what we're facing. That looks like a cruiser. Unless it's a very modern battleship with light, very low caliber guns. Huh. I was feeling a bit apprehensive, but now that I've seen those 2 ships, I'm not so concerned. They look like they have very small caliber guns, and if that's the case, our Yamatos will clean up, because these ships will need to get very close to be able to do anything to our Yamatos. So we're going to prepare ourselves here for a line abreast attack. I'm going to try and sow as much discord as I can. Our DDs are largely on their own at the moment. We do have support of the flagship in terms of radio communication, but I don't think we're in range for main gun fire. 39 knot destroyers running in hard. Coming in from a few different points of attack, which is good. She won't be able to split her guns that far. If we can get ahead of her, we could probably feed some down the line. Arashio is going to be... No, battleship's turning. Starting to give us a side. We'll try and get Asashio in front. And Arashio will join her. The Kishinami will take a different target, I think. To see how this goes. She's turning pretty hard away. She knows what's happening. I do want to try and get across the bow with the other ship. Alright, Arashio, you need to move. These are our freshly refit destroyers too. Shiny new paint. Twin 5-inch turrets. 16 torpedoes aside. Depending on whether it's a torpedo attack or a fleet destroyer. We have both varieties here today. We also have a fleet destroyer there with the triple turret arrangement on the front. I guess it's more of a destroyer leader. It's 2,400 ton. Here we go. Looking nice. We've managed to split the column. And we have torpedoes coming from both sides. Hopefully overshots will hit ships behind. But we do not have torpedoes to do that again. We've got 8 aside. No hits there, unfortunately. Light cruiser here, about to be cleaned up. Yes, 2 hits there amidships. Japanese destroyers beating a hasty retreat. That attack was way less effective than I wanted it to be. Still have torpedoes in the water, but yeah, I don't know. That was a bit of a waste. And to me, that looks like she's safe from our torpedoes. So this is going to devolve into a gunfight. And those BBs want to get close. Alright, we're cycling our destroyers out, giving them some time to reload. Main line is now engaged. We have 6 in the line. I did increase the amount of ships in a battleship line because of our command promotion. Yeah, so I don't know what they've done with their displacement here, but it's odd. And those are actually 13-inch guns. They didn't look like that to me. So they will hurt. But they're still targeting our destroyers, which is probably the best. Very close. Very close. The next one might get you. Yeah, because you're actually facing, you know, randomly generated ships, it can be hard to distinguish exactly what you're looking at unless you've played the game for a while. And those are definitely battleships. I'd just gotten so used to seeing triple and quad turrets that I'd forgotten how small a dual turret is in comparison, I guess. Alright, our destroyers are halfway through their reload process. It's going to be another 5 minutes, I think, before we see them any action. But we have separated from the battleship line. So we should have a very good line of attack. Fire aboard the Arso. Keeping a tight grouping. We're not sure how advanced the Austro-Hungarian Empire is in terms of torpedo technology. The Italians certainly had faster torps. He's turning broadside. He's turning away. He didn't like that damage, so he's trading places. New leader will form up. Keeping one destroyer near our line, just in case. Oh, they've spotted us, so we're going to hit smoke. We're not quite ready for an attack. Rear battleship in the line is exposed. I'm going to try and circle around them. Yeah, they're coming straight at us. They ain't messing around. We just need one solid hit to make him go away. Going as slow as possible, just to keep our aim bonus up. Now he's fallen in within range of our 8-inch batteries. And we have 20 7.9-inch guns aside on the Yamato class at the moment. If they're on the latest refit, that's how many guns they've got. I knocked a slight amount off the caliber so I could fit more barrels. So rather than 8-inch, we have 7.9-inch. Ooh. So many hits. The smaller ships are just going to melt under that sort of fire. We are almost ready for an attack. We're just waiting on one of the destroyers to hurry up with the loading. Yeah, they're just running full steam at us. 28.5 knots, so they do outspeed us. We can't run away. Our Yamatos are at 26 knots. 26 and a half. Some of these haven't yet been refit, it seems. I have so many ships, man, it's hard to keep track of them all at the moment. You have to run a spreadsheet separately to the game. But I did kind of experiment with all of the different hulls as well, so if I was playing a more focused game, I would concentrate on certain hull types that work well. But the Japanese Empire has enough resources to just throw ideas to the wind. Non-stop barrage of secondary fire. We have enemy torpedoes coming in. They're not very fast. The line is turning away. Can Sakura block this torpedo? She's running too fast. I should have slowed down. Our destroyer force is running a distraction here on the wing, but also supporting the rear of our line. Sakura looks like she ran into the other ship. They've had a collision here, have we? Or did she stop dead? She looks like she's in trouble. There's a few guns opening fire now. Things all over the board. Having that destroyer so close has forced the battleship to turn away a bit. They have sent out fish to finish her off, unfortunately. It's a wide spread, so perhaps they won't hit, but it doesn't matter. That destroyer just got pounded by battleship fire in the smoke. And it's now sinking. Thanks for your service, Sakura. She's been around for a while, that ship. We've seen her in a few battles, anyway. Cruisers are trying to punch through close to the line, but it's not going to help. Our destroyers are running hard on their wing. We do have an enemy contact in the smoke there. We need to keep an eye on that. Circling the formation back on itself. Cruisers have dumped a torpedo. Setting up for a torpedo attack. Waiting. Those fish in the water, please. Oh, he's turned away. This is not going to be a good attack. We may have a little bit of danger passing through our line. Get them to hurry up around their turn. Cruisers turning hard to starboard to face our destroyers. We're going to have to shoot across our friendly. Close range torpedoes away. Setting attack run. Can we take out this cruiser that's causing so much chaos? The battleship formation is floundering. Under sustained fire from our formation. We just need to keep an eye on these escorts. Our ships are a little bit too close together. The game is slowing right down. There's too many shells in the air. Oh, massive damage here to Arashio. She's going down. Her torpedo rack's exploding, it seems. Oh, both of them. The Asashio and the Arashio. Oh no. Two sisters. Down. I believe they were fresh ships too. Freshly built, those ones. The Kishinami is not. I believe she's the lead ship of her class. So we need to get her out of there. They're our third gen destroyers, I think. Battle line is turned into a battle circle. You can't be flanked if you circle each other. but you are torpedo bait. These guys are taking a lot of fire. They have taken 409 hits. And that's still going. Oh, Kishinami's in trouble. The Hungarian battleship has surrendered. Casualties were too high after this constant barrage. Kishinami took a hit to the stern. It's currently flooding, but in danger. We have lost all of our other destroyers. It's up to our battleship line now to finish this fight. The rear battleship in the line there is taking fire from astern, which is not a good idea. We're zigzagging, but battleship Chitosi is in a vulnerable position. We are outnumbered. That is not ideal. Chitosi again taking shots in the rear quarter. We do not want that, but there's not much I can do unless I break her out of formation, which I may have to do. I'm going to present more rear, but we need to turn away from that fire solution. I'm sure that will pay off. We need to switch sides on the armor. We've managed to gain some distance over the Hungarians now. And their smaller ships are being focused down by our secondaries, while our main batteries are engaging the larger threats. Chitosi is still floundering. She's a surprisingly resilient ship, but she's not in a great position. I am concerned about a close-range torpedo. Kishinami is just... there's nothing I can do to save her. She just... no, too late. The lead ship of that class, I'm totally sure of that. So we're going to turn back. We're going to try and seize back some initiative. Try and increase the effectiveness. The second battleship is down now, so the major threat is down. We just need to make sure that we protect Chitosi. Bring all of those guns around, please. We're taking more hits, but we just got to rely on the armor. Right, so we're going to try and split them down the middle. Separate their force so we can fight them on both sides. Our strength is our secondary guns. We have so many of them on each side of the ship. Turning up the speed. It's so good to see them fighting on both sides. These guys are done for. GG. 85,000 victory points. I'm going to say that was the majority of their fleet, because we got so much victory from that. Just got one battleship to find and kill, and we have the ships to do it. There she is. They most certainly don't want to fight today. We're just going to chase them down, take out the cruiser escort. Oh no, Minazuki exploding in spectacular fashion as she emerged from her own smoke trail. Akishimu, undeterred, launching off her starboard fish. Which is enough to silence that cruiser and get some revenge. She's going to turn away, and then we'll send the rest of the destroyers up to catch up with the main prize. She should sink. Shh. But our destroyer is just cutting a path through the waves. Kusunoki firing torpedoes when she shouldn't have. And one of those is going really wide. So I had to move out the Makanami out of the way. Battleship's turning now to face us. She's realized she can't escape. Catching up there. Kazugumo. Drop those torpedoes. Drop the speed. It helps rotate the turret around because we're passing our target faster than the tubes can rotate, I think. Oh, 11 hits, 21,000 damage. Hungarian battleship, soon to be on the bottom. I'm Commander Tyrael. This is Ultimate Admiral Age of Dreadnoughts. If you're liking the series, make sure to let me know down below, and I'll keep making them. As we watch as the BB Bohemia explodes.